Welcome back to Publicized Theory Podcast. I am your host, Anthony Ocasio. And if you are new here, you are listening to a podcast where I talk about self mastery, self development, and concepts where we can all become the best version of ourselves. I dive into my experiences, how I have overcome internal battles, internal struggles, life experiences that most of us have gone through and will continue to go through as we go through this journey called life. So, again, thank you all for tapping in with me to another episode. If this episode resonates with you, please do not hesitate to subscribe, follow the podcast, and if you can, leave me a rating. Let me know your thoughts, good, bad, or indifferent. All feedback is much appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now let's dive into this week's episode of Publicized Theory. Happy Friday, everyone. As always, thank you for tapping in with me to another episode of Publicized Theory Podcast. Today, I wanted to speak on a few things revolving around the self development journey and what are the realistic outcomes of self development or self mastery. That all looks completely different for a lot of people on who you become and the things you change or the things you want to change within yourself. But how does that look for most? What is the overarching rewards or outcomes of self development? Now, I will say that going on a self development journey does not mean that you come out this glistening, perfect individual who doesn't have flaws, who is for some reason always optimistic, always positive, and never has a downside, never has something that bothers them, never has off days. So, with that being said, don't look at the journey as that. Don't go into the journey thinking you're coming out a perfect individual because that's not the case. What going on this journey provides, which is actually two things. It provides peace, first and foremost, and I'll break that down and dive into that further. But more importantly, it provides acceptance. And what I mean by that is it allows you to accept ownership, it allows you to accept responsibility, it allows you to accept accountability, and it allows you to go through that with a level of acceptance that makes everything so much easier in dealing with. It makes everything that much more calm. Acceptance is huge because a lot of the times we're dealing with battles, internal battles that are aimed at making us resistant to what is, making us resistant to the things we need to do, who we need to become, what we need to be in order to get the things that we want. And that resistance flies in the face of being accountable, flies in the face of being responsible, flies in the face of taking ownership of the things that we are or the things that we may not be doing. Now, as it relates to peace, how do we get peace from self development? How do we acquire peace from working on ourselves? Well, if you think about it, there are a whole host of examples that take away our peace, whether it's thinking about things in the past that make us upset, that make us angry, that make us anxious, things in the future that hasn't happened yet, makes us, again, happy, sad, or anxious, and things currently going on in our lives that make us angry, sad, or depressed. But when we accept all the things that we need to do, all the things that is happening, when we let go of the past, when we really don't worry about the future and we just accept what is in this current moment, that provides a level of peace because what would essentially weigh you down is no longer weighing you down. It's when we wrestle and we fight and we resist those elements, then we become affected and impacted by those things. Going on this self-development journey isn't to make you a perfect individual. It's not aimed at making you live a life where you don't get angry or you don't get upset or you don't have an off day or things don't bother you. It's essentially just providing you with a layer of peace, a layer of acceptance, a layer of heightened awareness that helps you and guides you and allows you to handle situations differently, that allows you to maneuver and look at life differently. And that's what this journey is all about. It's working within ourselves, the things that we know we need to work on that could provide us the peace, the acceptance, the accountability, the responsibility. And it just takes on a whole new meaning on life. We know we will never be perfect. We know that there will be things that will make us upset or will throw a wrench in whatever it is that we're working on. But we're better off equipped in maneuvering those situations. So when you think about self development and self mastery, and the word mastery is could be looked at as perfection in a way. Because if you master something, that means you're basically so good at it that you can't essentially do anything wrong in a way, which you can be a master of something and still have a lapse in judgment or be wrong. At no point in time are you 100% of the time going to be correct, going to be happy. So think about that. Give yourself grace in the journey that you're on and understand that it's a lifelong journey. This isn't a boot camp, self development boot camp that you complete in a few months or you complete in a year and then you come out a completely new person that will not fall on the same mistakes of the past or become or still have elements of the person you were. It's a lifelong journey. Self development is a lifelong journey. Evolving is a lifelong journey. Evolution is a lifelong journey. And for many things, it's centuries, decades journey. Things do not evolve and adapt overnight, and you cannot expect yourself to adapt and evolve overnight. It may take time. It may take a year, it may take a few months for you to really overcome the true battles that you have. But that doesn't mean that you're the perfect individual because you overcame those battles. It just means that you evolved, you got better, you were able to turn a new leaf and become a new individual and recreate yourself in a way that in some ways will make people have to get to know you again. Oh wow, I don't see this makes you upset anymore. That's amazing. Or yeah, I don't react to situations like this anymore. Or by the way, I'm a better listener. I try to listen more than I speak. I try to understand someone's emotions instead of reacting and deflecting and defending. And there's so many different ways in which we can grow and become a better individual, not just for ourselves, too, for the people around us. Self development is not just beneficial to the self, which is the great thing about it, even though it's self development. But before you can take care or look after anyone else, you have to make sure you're good at the end of the day, too. If you're not good, you can't really be the best person you can be for someone else if you genuinely can't be there for you. So understand that the goal of self development isn't perfection. It isn't going to wipe away the future sad days or you having a mental breakdown or you not feeling the best. It won't wipe those days away. It'll just allow you to cope with those days better and allow you to reset the next day and put that all behind you, knowing that you've accepted what yesterday provided. Today is a new day, and this is how I'm going to take ownership of today, of my mind, of my emotions, of my feelings. Fundamentally, I feel this way. And that's the most important part, how you fundamentally feel. And if that fundamental feeling is one of positivity, it's one of seeing what great things are out there for you, being in an abundant state of mind, and so many other different things that I'm sure I've touched on or will touch on in future episodes. But so long as that fundamental feeling is of that, it's on that frequency, you will be able to overcome and continue to push through and continue to feel good about yourself and everything that you have going on. The past will be the past. The future doesn't exist. How can I make today the best day possible? With that being said, I appreciate you for tapping in. Remember, the goal isn't perfection. You and I will never be perfect. It's never going to happen. But we can always strive to be the best version of ourselves. And we can always strive to continue to make an impact internally so we can see all the results and rewards externally. Thank you. I hope you all have an amazing weekend. Continue to stay blessed. Continue to stay safe.